And there we go. Page 112. Third reading, Exodus Va'era, Exodus 6:29-7:7. God then gave specific instructions to Moshe and Aaron regarding how to speak to Pare. Va'era.
12.
I'm just gonna jump right in and say that we also have specific instructions. I mean, who's Pare these days? Who is it? Because there's no actual one guy that's Pare. He's right now stands for a concept of or something inside of me that I have to challenge, or he represents the society at large that pressure me into doing things against the Torah. But specific instructions that I have is Shulchan Aruch. I got to learn a little bit of Shulchan Aruch every day.
Let's see. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe Re'ei Nasati Elohim L'Pai V'Gomer. And Hashem said to Moshe, "Observe, I have made you master over Paro." I don't even know what this means, but I read on Sunday, seeing God. So like, I mean, so I was like thinking about when I read after I finished Tillim, I was reading this. I was like wondering, like, it's so cool how, I mean, it's not cool how people die. I mean, like, once people die, they see Hashem. So I was like thinking, like, this person right now that I'm saying Tillim for is seeing God right now, and she's going in a higher level because I am lifting her body, her soul. Yeah.
The purpose of Moses, there's no extra S's, just Moses, both apostrophe. Purpose of Moses' respectful yet forceful speech to Pharaoh, however you want to read it, Harao, was to break the forces of evil when their powers were strongest. I took a sneak peek, Isaac, I'm not going to lie. And yeah, it's going to talk about the Pharaohs of nowadays. Also, I'm not sure what Yitzhi's talking about. I hope it's only good things. I don't want anyone dying. Yeah, their soul gets closer to God when they expire, but they're closest to God when they're able to actually do what he wants. That's whatever. There's a from why Jacobson.
Yitzi is speaking about last night he did shmira on someone who passed away, and yeah, I'm going to read a little further. Similarly, there are times in our lives when our inner pharaohs, that is, our animal drives, seem to have the upper hand. At such times, the best way to overcome these drives is to channel our inner Moses and rage against them, insult them, and humiliate them. Whoa. That's pretty hefty there. Wonder where it's going with that. But I do want to point out for myself that my job is not to humiliate other people's pharaohs.
I still don't know what this is talking about, but I mean, there was different ways that people spoke to Paro. There was different languages back then. I mean, as we saw how Paro was evil, but really, how do we know that Paro was evil? Maybe he was really good, but as the Torah is saying that he was evil and he did not let the Jews go. Maybe the reason why he didn't let the Jews go is because maybe they were making food and he wanted food from them, and like we kept on making good food and like their people didn't have anything. So I mean, that's probably why he didn't want us going. But once God showed him the tests, like He's like, fine, I'll let you guys go.
Nope. Pharaoh was a bad man. Bad man. Bad boy. If there's midrashim about the Jews being mighty warriors, they were fighting. They were in the armies, and they were fighting, and they were winning ridiculous battles of 1,000 to 100,000 or something like that, and they would be winning, themselves being the lesser number. And Pharaoh was just scared about their might. Person was scared about his own little Rakaktan house, that he's ruling these people. They're good terms with him. Scared one time we're gonna have bad terms, so let's start the bad terms now. Come on, he was a bad man. They're making good food. They were sharing the food with them. The Jews did everything other than three things they didn't change: their language, their names, and their clothes. How they dressed, how they spoke, and how they referred themselves to. But everything else they did under the sun. They were in Egypt, for crying out loud. Like the best place to do anything you want under the sun.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well said. I love Yitzi's just like saying something so crazy. I love it. I love it. He was saying crazy things. I mean, like, yeah, I was also shocked right when you said, I'm like, are you crazy? Pare? Pare is an evil, or as Yoni put it, a bad man. A bad man. Yeah, I mean, he got saras, like boils around his skin, kind of like boils. And in order to cure himself, he killed thousands and thousands and thousands of children, babies, Jewish children, and would bathe in their blood. Yeah, that's a bad guy. I'm just saying, that's a pretty bad guy. Okay, go ahead.
If I shoot someone, am I considered a bad man? But really, people see me as a good guy. They saw me. Oh, I shot one guy. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was on purpose. Now everyone's gonna say, "Oh wow, this guy's a bad man. Don't go to this guy. He's a bad man." I mean, most of the time we think that Paro is bad. Everyone says that Paro is bad, but no one. It doesn't say anything about what Paro did. Paro. Maybe people are saying that this is a new Paro. Well, what if it's the same Paro that just lost his memory and wasn't really paying attention? Oh, he let the Jews come here. Um, uh, um, he let Yosef become king. Maybe it was his son. Maybe it was his son that became king, and he did not want that happening.
Or Vieska.
So I want to tell you what's most important for me today. First of all, Yom Tov to everybody. Havdalah Teves today, a very special day. One of the things what I was excited about Havdalah Teves is like this. You have the story of the Pinchas of Falls. I think it's the Parnas of Vilna. I think it's the Pinchas of Falls. How he became the Alter Rebbe's Chassid. So the whole story, basically, when the story comes out, that the Alter Rebbe made a story in his life, and the story became reality. If you look at it deep, in the minute, whatever you think really becomes reality, what the Rebbe wants to say. So I want to see who can make the best reality in the world. I think I'm lugging in to the right thoughts to make a reality that's my reality is the best in the world. And I wish everybody would put the reality of theirs in my life, make a better life. I will go for it. Thank you very much for speaking the reality of my life. Share now.
So, Yitzi, Rashi also explains already that this may not be a new pharaoh, and he just made himself as if new. This may be a new pharaoh. We don't. There's different midrash and different explanations. But one thing's for sure: didn't know God, didn't know about Yosef. Come on, man! He saved the entire population of the time. How do you forget within a short period of time, within even 100 years of his time, that there was a guy that saved, and this is his family? You forget that? No, you don't forget such a thing. Even 50 years within that time, the guy made as if he didn't know God and the Jews. In addition, yeah, so you're saying basically like how people kill pigs nowadays in order to get the heart, in order to do heart surgery. Pharaoh was just doing the medical thing of that time, and he wasn't a bad man. He was just killing the Jewish babies in order to get the blood, because that was the remedy back then for leprosy.
I like what Yitzi is saying because this is what I do with my own pharaoh. Like, what do you mean? He's not a bad guy. He's just, it's not my fault. I was abused when I was younger, and I have ADHD, and I have OCD and JKL, and it's not my fault. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. So, in the end of the day, am I so icker? What matters is what you do. Yes, of course. Are you excused? This entire generation is officially excused. Seriously, this entire globe, every person on this earth is excused and is let off the hook because of some kind of mental illness or something. But what you actually do is what matters, the reality. And we do justify our pharaohs. I like what you have to say.
I understand what you're saying, Yoni. He is a bad man. I think that, I mean, I understand why you think he is. I understand too, but like some people would think that maybe he just wants to be himself, and he wants to like tell people that what he thinks is right, but really he probably maybe he didn't know. Let's say it was a new pharaoh. It was probably his son that became pharaoh, and he didn't listen to his father, and he always did other things. But I mean, it's wrong to be. It's wrong what he did. I know he's a bad man.
Rabbi Yeska.
Okay, I just fix myself. You hear me? Okay, so I wish I would love for Itzi to read the story about how Reform Kosovo became a host of the Alter Rebbe. I don't know what's going to make me say to Itzi to know it, because Itzi is a real guy. So I'm speaking to you, Itzi. I wish you would be involved and read the story about. Read the story. He is a nice friend of his. He's been FiveAlive in middle of groups. Yeah, good to see you. Hey. Long time no see. Nice. Hello?
Yoni.
All right, so I gotta admit, I peeked ahead again, and I'm gonna read ahead. The same is true regarding our mission to oppose negativity in the world at large. Of course, we must always convey God's message in a pleasant and peaceful way, just as God commanded Moses to address Pharaoh respectfully. But at the same time, we must approach our pharaohs fearlessly and forcefully. If we remain true to God's message, we can break the power of darkness and help bring God's redemptive light to the world. The Kutei Sichos, volume 16, pages 74, 75, and 76. Yeah, we must rage against them, insult them, and humiliate them. I'll say he's a nice guy only after I completely destroy him. Maybe then he could start acting like a nice guy. You know? Some people, they need a good zets before they start acting properly. Yeah, that's basically it.
I think that, well, we're clearly speaking about myself here. Like I said before, my job is not to insult, rage against, and humiliate his power. No. My own, yeah, in the right context. And if I could afford it, you know what I mean? And we're talking about the Nefesh Bahamas. We're talking about animal drives. And we're talking about when it seems to have the upper hand. And we're talking about I want to say something. I'm not sure, but anyways, basically, we're talking about my own. You know,
Mhm. Um, I mean, when we, I mean, the message that the last part by like defeating the darkness and bringing in light. I mean, it's all talking about Hanukkah, how we should always like bring light. But like, I mean, every day whenever we do something good, we're bringing light and we're taking darkness away. Whenever we do something bad, we're taking the light away and we're letting the darkness overpower the light. Um, I mean, if we find out our wit like our inner paro, we'll be able to defeat it.
Rabbi Yaske.
So I heard what the conversation, and I really like the conversation because it affects me from situations that with relationships. So, Yoni, you're gonna get a punch now because you punched me. You said I have to deserve the punch, so you punched me already. So don't, I'm not upset with you that you punched me. Basically, what I want to say is when the way you think, people think. What I want to say is like this. I would suggest each one of us to live in the jungle 1 month to dress like a lion, or live with the lions. And you're gonna have to, the lion gonna feel if you're a lion or not. The reason I'm saying to you, but you can say I'm a nice guy, you're nice, and people feel what you feel towards them. People know exactly
Tony.
what you feel towards them.
Thank you, Rabbi Yaske.
So, Isaac, I'm completely along with those lines of what you said. That it's regarding to me, of course, regarding myself. Just like in, though I'm not for this type of discipline, they used to have a method that they would spank a kid if they did something bad, and it would be the teacher or the educator. You wouldn't have some random grocery shopper guy, grocery shop manager go spank your kid. You'd spank them afterwards. So, like, obviously, you have to within context. Um, so yeah, but here you got to be respectful to your elders. And the Yitzhar is called an foolish king. So he is a king. He is a pharaoh. He's a fat pharaoh. Other people have a different type of nickname for him, along with fat. Yeah, fat pharaoh.
So Yetzi, it's good to see you. Good morning. And for Shalema to feel all the way better. And I'm pretty amazed that the mitzvah you did last night. Pretty phenomenal. You should definitely take credit for that and feel good about that so that you'll do more mitzvahs like that. And Rabbi Yaske, it's good to see you. Always sharing gold. Yasher Koyach. Do appreciate it. Maybe if you send over the story or if you text me the actual name, I'll be able to search it up and find it. Maybe we'll be able to read it together if Yitzi's interested. And Yoni, good to see you. Good to hear your input. As always, very insightful. Insightful. Yeah, not like you're making fights. Interesting. It doesn't say anything about hitting here.
I mean, what Yaska is trying to say is, I mean, when you look at it, when an animal looks at you, it doesn't really know if you're an animal with it or not. So like when you're in the jungle with the lion, a lion doesn't know if you're a lion or not. It'll probably smell that you're not a lion. I mean, most of the time, people don't know what you are. We think that Paro is a bad guy. We know he's a bad guy because he did all these things, but that's what we see. But most of the time, we don't see he took. I'll tell you.
Yes.
Refuah Shleima. I like what Itzi was trying to say. It's very important. But I will take it a word. One animal sees 2 dimension, 3 dimension, 5 dimension. So because of pi, we will see endless dimensions. So we're not going to stop to see dimension. That's why there's no problems. It's a wild, wonderful dimension. So, and I'm going to try to send Rabbi Isaac the name. His name is Pinchas Refoels, the Parnas of the Kehillah of Vilna. Pinchas Refoels or Meir Refoels. Please remember it. If I'm not going to remember to send you the name. It's a nice story because it's very inspiring. Give me reality, my reality, the world's reality.
Funny.
All right, so my phone is right now sitting in a freezer because I got a warning. High heat or whatever, high temperature. So it wants to automatically shut down. So I right away took off all the extra stuff that was happening. And right now my phone's laying inside a freezer. That's why you saw it close a few times. Yeah. From some reason, I have nothing more to say. I don't want to pass though. I do not want to pass. No, I want to talk. I want to talk, but I don't know what. So I'm just gonna burn some time. Yeah. If it seemed like I was, hitting on what Yitzi was saying and doing what that, then I wasn't trying to. Yeah.
Trying to say that your Pharaoh's a nice guy, really. Chas v'shalom, I don't think that you're. I don't think that that's what you're going for, but I do wanted to point that out for myself to know that we're talking about how to talk to my Pharaoh, not how to talk to somebody else's Pharaoh. My Pharaoh is the one that I need to realize that I am actually master over, and that I have a godly spark that my Pharaoh is enslaving, and there's a way to deal with him. That if he seems to have a upper hand, which means that he's in its full power, don't fall for that slavery. You got a little bit of Moses, right? That little bit of Moses that's inside of me, that part of my neshama, that pintele yid, whatever you want to call it, is really the master over the animal soul.
I think I'm ready. Okay, so I was gonna finish off by saying, I mean, that most of the time we don't know what is really happening. Like, everyone thinks that Paro is bad. Yeah, he threw all the boys and into the river, and he showered in the blood of them. And but really, we don't know that. If it says that Paro knew that that Moshe was a Jew, and he kept him alive, and like, he could have killed him right away, but he decided not to, and because he thought maybe he would be able to get him to join the other side, but he didn't. Yoni?
Interesting. Person that you argue with saying that Pharaoh's not such a bad guy for killing a bunch of children to bathe in their blood. They're going to give you some type of look. I'm not sure which one. There's a few different types of reactions to them, but it's never a positive one. Talking about my own Pharaoh, my own Pharaoh, or Pharaoh, or Faray, or yeah, they come in so many different shapes and sizes that it's always fun to try to tackle them. That if you take a moment, you're thinking, is it right or is it not right? Like, hold up, what does Allah say? Hold the door. What does Allah say? and then you know. Then you know what you're supposed to do and if it's right or wrong.
I would like to take this opportunity to tell you guys that Rabbi Tzvi's friend, Rabbi Yoey Muchnik, just started I don't know when he started it actually. He started a 5-minute WhatsApp message that he sends out of Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, teaching it clear 5 minutes a day, which is amazing. And he just started from the beginning, which is really amazing. And I joined it, and I am together with it, up to date. It's a few days already, and it's amazing. And yeah, I mean, we know how important halacha is. If I don't know what I'm actually supposed to do, fearlessly and forcefully.
I didn't even get any sleep last night. I don't know why. But the night before, I got like a 12-hour sleep. I had fun yesterday. I got $430 I made. Yeah. I missed the raffle yesterday. No, there was no. Oh, today. Also, I'm lucky. I got lucky. Yeah. Have a good day.
Is that it, or we have more time? We have more time, okay. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Tanya, today, Bainani, and how every Jew, because if he didn't give any type of help, even though we're supposed to make God, and God says, listen, you got to make the decision. He's like, yeah, I'll still help you. He still helps out. And the help is that he gives light. He gives the light, shines a light onto the soul. And just like light, small light pushes away a bunch of darkness, but sometimes our soul's covered with dirt. Light can't reach dirt, so we have to, or even sand. Sometimes we have to shake it up a little bit. So let's shake up our lives.
Yeah, Yoni, we can't see you. Just letting you know in case you didn't know, and it was a little bit choppy. I think I was still able to make out what you said, but just a little bit difficult. That is a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Nice amount for good work, a huge mitzvah, and also you finished the whole Tillim, which is phenomenal. So sounds like an all-around win to me. Um, I don't know what's the takeaway. So what am I supposed to do about this? I am trying to do a bunch of things right now. I am working myself on a lot of things. I've been taking on these what I call micro achlatas, tiny achlatas, or like for weeks, for 1 week at a time. But I wonder what the takeaway is here.
I mean, when it says that God said to Moshe, observe, I have made you master over Paro. I mean, Moshe went up to Paro, even though Paro wanted to kill Moshe because he killed one of his own, he killed Paro's servants. Moshe saw that, look, I can go up to Paro and say, let my people go, and there's 10 Makos coming, and he kept on telling him what day is going to happen, and I guess he.
Yes, I know we cannot see me. Yeah, it's either camera or voice, and I choose voice. That's a little choppy as well. So takeaway. I don't know. Because I think there's a thing called progressive extremism. All right, it's not a real thing. Official one does it. He explains that there's a video I watched a long time ago, probably 4 months ago, still a long time ago to me. And basically, getting of something completely, but it's small things. So like no more soda forever, right? Or no more soda in the house forever. That's progressive extremism. But also micro achalatas are good, like weekly something. Always good. Always good to add good.
Well, I base these things off the Rebbe's teachings or Hasidic teachings. I don't know who you quoted, but it's definitely also a way. But I found that this is like really pushing me, getting me to do a lot of good things, and also to not give up. Because like a week, I can do a week. You know, I'm actually in the middle of a tough one that's just not going, and I'm still trying it. It's basically to learn, make sure you're learning or saying Tyro or Tillim or anything like that for 4 hours a day. Was in a Hayom Yom 2 Shabbosim ago. And since then, I took the chata to do that for a week. And I have not managed it yet. So I'm still trying to get that one done.
I mean, we don't know how this world works. I mean, yesterday when I stayed home, I mean, I didn't think I was going to be able to do anything because my cousins were here and I wanted to have fun with them, but I had to stay home because I was sick. So I didn't know that since I stayed home, they didn't have any people to watch to be a shelter for the body. So I guess since I was sick, I was supposed to be able to do that. So maybe the reason why I was sick that day is because so I can do a mitzvah. I mean, anything is possible. I could have went to school sick, but I guess Hashem said, no, don't go to school. We're going to have you do a mitzvah. And
Yeah, Isaac, it's not a Jew that said it. I was just quoting another person. But definitely, of course, it's a way, and I'm in favor of whatever the Hasidic masters and are more in favor of that than obviously other things. Things that you're able to do. Also, in repentance, there's also different ways you could do. Instead of going in snow in hell, you roll in snow today. Like that type of thing. Or instead of burning in the fire, you get their fire, or whatever. Or contemplate. There's different ways of doing it. Obviously, there's different ways, but to do a week of 4 hours a day. I mean, for a married guy that has a job and all that, you're ridiculous, Isaac. I love it. You're ridiculous. It's great.
Thank you. It's interesting they were mentioning the whole rolling in the snow and hell and things like that. Because what it says in this Hayom Yom is that if you want to avoid chibut hakever or kafakela, there's two things in there basically, and it's saying how. One is by making sure that you learn and are saying holy words of Torah, basically. It's not holy words of Torah. It says Mishnah, Tanya, Tehillim, V'chulu. Basically, I'm including anything that goes under that category. And basically, then you don't get that punishment. So I found it weird because we generally don't speak about those kind of stuff in Chabad. So takeaway. Apply one thing from the Shulchan Aruch.
I mean, most of the time, people say stuff, and we say, "Oh, where did you get that?" Like, "Oh, this guy told me," or "I got it from Shulchan Aruch. I got it from the Rebbe. I got it from the Mishnah. I got it from the Rashi. I got it from Tosfos. I got it from like wherever." I mean, most of the time we don't know where we're getting these things from. Most of the time it just pops in our head. We're like, "Oh, I got that idea," or sometimes people already have the idea. Yeah.
Like someone opens up a business, sees the commercial online, is like, yo, I thought of that before he made the business. I thought of that idea. Well, too bad you didn't do it. Like Isaac said, this world is mainly action, only action, basically. Regardless of what you think, as long as you don't speak it or say it or do it, it doesn't matter. The person could be the most violent person in his mind, but if he's the kindest person, no one knows. No one will know. Way is to understand it as a fine and divided, like not just fine as in like thin, a fine as in like it's a well-defined line in Pharaoh, and there's a respectful line, and you don't pass it. You don't walk up to Pharaoh and say, I'm embodying you. No, you speak to it. You're outside of it. This Tanya speaks about how God aids in it, and rely on God's aid that He'll help you by you doing that. That's how I'm tying the whole thing.
Well, this is completely for me, but I just want to make this a clear definition. I'm speaking to my animal soul in a pleasant and peaceful way with respect, and at the same time fearless and forceful. And part of speaking to Pari, this is what you actually made me think of, Yoni, is to realize that means as long as I'm not a tzaddik, when I refer to myself, I'm really speaking about my animal soul. I say me, I mean my animal soul. I'm a tzaddik, I refer to myself as a godly soul. But when I speak to Pari like that, so then I realize that it's not the real me. Although it is pervasive. Right word?
Okay. Probably. I'm so tired. I was just like reading the purpose of Moshe, respectful yet forced speech to Paro. So that means that Moshe spoke like respectful, like he was respect, because I mean Moshe. I don't know if did Moshe know his father, his Jewish father, or no? Yeah. I mean Moshe was still respectful to Paro because he took him in too, even though he had his father, but.
I like what you said. I like what you said. And when I say I mean, sure that you said I got you to think that. The animal soul really enjoys that. But yeah, when I'm referring to my animal soul, I'm speaking with my divine soul. But when you're referring to your divine soul, what are you referring to? With what are you referring to? With what tool are you using? Also, there's a very beautiful article that I want to send you about the 10 makkahs and how it relates to the spheres and how it relates to our day-to-day life. Presents a different attribute or way that we can use positively or negatively. Plagues being the negative ones, trying to break those down. Way in very clear, concise manner is. At any point that I think wrong, I'll rely on the Torah and on the light of God and do whatever that says.
Thank you very much, Yitzi and Yoni. Mashiach
Have a
now.
wonderful and fuzzy day, I guess.